My name is Maya, and I didn't think my first day at Lincoln High would end with everyone staring at me like I'd done something wrong. But it did. Let me back up. 3 months ago, my family moved to the suburbs because my dad got a job transfer. It wasn't a big deal to them, but for me, it meant leaving my old school, my old friends, and basically starting over from scratch. I was nervous, like really nervous. I'm not the type of person who makes friends easily. I'm quiet. I like observing people more than talking to them. I draw a lot. I listen to music. I keep to myself. And honestly, that's how I like it. So when I walked into Lincoln High for the first time, my plan was simple. Keep my head down, go to class, sit alone at lunch, go home. I didn't want attention. I didn't want to stand out. I just wanted to survive. And for the first week, it actually worked. But then, I noticed her. Her name is Brittany, and she's the type of girl that everyone knows. Like, everyone. She has this energy where she walks into a room and people just pay attention. She's pretty, confident, always laughing with her friends. And honestly, I didn't care about any of that. I was fine watching from a distance. But Brittany seemed to care about me. The weird thing was, she was always nice to me. Like, genuinely nice. She'd smile at me in the hallway. She asked me about my drawings once when she saw me sketching in the library. She even invited me to sit with her group at lunch a few times. And I was like, okay, maybe this is just how people are here. Maybe everyone is actually nice. But then I started noticing things. Small things at first. Like, her smile would change when she was talking to me versus talking to her other friends. Or she'd make a comment about my outfit that sounded like a compliment, but felt a little off. Nothing I could point to and say, that was mean, but I could feel it. There was something underneath the niceness. Like she was testing me, watching me. And I didn't understand why. Then things started getting weird. I started hearing whispers when I walked past groups of people. Not loud enough for me to hear what they were saying, but loud enough for me to know they were talking about me. I'd catch people looking at me and then quickly looking away. Girls who had been nice to me suddenly seemed distant. I didn't know what I'd done wrong. I didn't have a crush on anyone's boyfriend. I wasn't trying to be friends with the wrong people. I was literally just existing. But somehow, I was becoming invisible in a way that felt intentional. Like people were deciding not to see me. I tried to ignore it. I really did. But it's hard to ignore when you're walking down the hallway and a group of girls stops talking the second you walk by. When you sit down at lunch and someone you thought was your friend suddenly has to go sit somewhere else. When you raise your hand in class and nobody really reacts, like your answer doesn't matter. Teachers didn't notice. Or maybe they did and just didn't care. Either way, nobody said anything. I started sitting alone again. By choice this time, but also because it felt like the only safe option. That's when I started noticing someone else noticing me. His name is Luke. He's in my English class. Not popular, not unpopular, just normal. He sits 2 rows over from me, and one day I realized he was always kind of looking at me. Not in a creepy way, just like he was checking to see if I was okay. One day after class, he sat down next to me while I was waiting for my next period.
Hey, you're Maya, right?
I was surprised he knew my name. Yeah, I said. Hi.
I'm Luke. I noticed you transferred here a few months ago.
I nodded, not sure where this was going.
I just wanted to say, I don't know what's going on with you and Brittany's group, but I don't think it's about anything you did. Some people are just like that. They get threatened by new people.
I remember feeling this rush of relief. Like, finally, someone else saw it. I wasn't crazy. It was actually happening. Thanks for saying that, I said quietly.
No problem. If you ever want to sit with people who aren't insane, my friends and I eat lunch outside sometimes. You're welcome to join.
He didn't push it. He just said it and left. And I appreciated that so much. It didn't fix everything, but it made me feel less alone. About a week later, I made a mistake. I was sitting outside during lunch, actually at a table with Luke and his friends for once. It felt good to just be around people who were being normal. And I got comfortable. Too comfortable. I was talking to Luke, and I mentioned that I thought someone in our chemistry class was cute. I wasn't being loud about it. It was just a quiet conversation between two people. I even asked him not to tell anyone, because I knew I was being ridiculous. He promised he wouldn't. I believed him. The next day, it was everywhere. Not just that I liked someone, but this exaggerated version of it. Apparently, I was obsessed with him. I had apparently written his name in my notebook 1,000,000 times. I was apparently following him around. Stuff I never said. Stuff that never happened. And everyone was talking about it. I found out when I walked into first period, and the girl next to me was literally reading something on her phone and giggling. When I sat down, she showed her friend, and they both looked at me. "That's her," I heard one of them say. My stomach dropped. I pulled out my phone and saw it. A group chat screenshot. Me, talking about having a crush. But the messages were edited. Words were added. The tone was completely different. It made me sound like I was bragging and spiraling, not just admitting a small crush. And at the bottom of the screenshot, I could see who posted it first. Brittany. I felt like I couldn't breathe. My face was burning. Everyone in that classroom suddenly felt like they were staring at me, even though most of them weren't. But I could feel their attention, their judgment. I couldn't focus on anything that day. I just sat there, trying not to cry, trying not to disappear into my seat. By lunch, it had spread to basically the entire grade. People were making jokes about me. Not to my face, but loud enough for me to hear. Memes were being made. My name was being used as a punchline. And Luke, I didn't even see Luke that day. I found out later that he wasn't the one who told Brittany. Someone else did. But it didn't matter. The damage was done. I went home and I just fell apart. My mom was making dinner when I walked in, and she took one look at me and knew something was wrong. I told her everything. About Brittany, about the rumors, about the screenshots, about how everyone was laughing at me. I thought she would be angry, or supportive, or something. Instead, she kind of minimized it.
Honey, high school is like that. People talk, but they'll forget about it by next week. Trust me, in a month, nobody will care.
Mom, you don't understand, I said. This is different. Everyone is literally making fun of me.
I know it feels that way right now, but
it's not about feelings. It's actually happening. My dad tried to help. He suggested I just ignore them and not let it get to me. As if I hadn't already tried that. As if it was that simple. They meant well. I know they did. But they didn't get it. They didn't understand what it's like to be trapped in a school where everyone knows your business, where your privacy is a joke, where the person who betrayed you is still walking around like nothing happened. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept checking my phone, watching people share the screenshots, watching the jokes pile up. And I felt so small, so powerless. But the next day, something shifted. I was in a library during lunch, trying to avoid everyone, and I overheard Brittany talking to one of her friends.
Did you see how everyone reacted? It was perfect.
Yeah, but aren't you worried she'll figure out?
Figure out what? That I got someone to tell her that Luke told me? Please. She's too embarrassed to care about how it happened. She just wants to disappear.
And I just stopped. Because I realized something. Brittany didn't hate me. She didn't even really know me well enough to hate me. What she was afraid of was that I was taking her spotlight. That people were starting to see me as someone interesting, someone new, someone worth paying attention to. And that scared her. Because if people were looking at me, they weren't looking at her. And instead of just accepting that or getting over it, she decided to destroy me. It wasn't about me at all. It was about her. And knowing that, it didn't make the pain go away, but it changed something. It made it less personal. It made it less like I deserved it. I didn't confront Brittany. I didn't call her out in front of everyone. I didn't try to get revenge. But I also didn't disappear. The next day, I walked into school like normal. When people stared, I didn't look away. When I heard whispers, I didn't pretend I didn't. I just existed. I sat with Luke at lunch. I participated in class. I drew in the library during breaks. And slowly, the noise got quieter. Not because everyone suddenly believed me or felt bad for me, but because the story got old, and because I stopped acting like I was guilty of something. About 2 weeks later, I found out that Luke had actually gone to a teacher about the edited screenshots. Nothing huge happened to Brittany. She just got a talking to. But enough people found out that she doctored the messages that her credibility took a hit. She wasn't unpopular or anything, but people started looking at her a little differently. And me? I wasn't suddenly popular. I didn't gain a whole friend group. My life didn't magically get better. But I stopped believing the lies that she told about me. And that made all the difference.